my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon, and today I have another bookish type video to share with you guys. Today I'm doing a tag video called the Alphabet Soup Tag. A is for author. I saw this tag on the channel Tia and All the Books, and I loved listening to her answers. I thought maybe you guys would like listening to mine, and here we are. So I'll of course link Tia's video down below. I'll also link the original video to the guy who had originally created the tag down below as well. So let me just have my phone here. I'm just gonna pull up the questions. All right, number one, A is for author. A good book by an author whose first name or last name starts with the letter A. First names are too easy, so bonus points for a surname, double points for first and last name. So, unless you're new here, you know that I love Margaret Atwood with my whole entire heart. So today I just walked over to my Margaret Atwood shelf, grabbed the first one I saw, and that was Hagseed by Margaret Atwood. This one is the one that she put out right before the most recent one, The Testaments, and this is actually a retelling of Hamlet, and it was part of a kind of collaboration because back a few years ago Random House actually commissioned a series which was the retelling of Shakespearean plays, and this was the one Margaret Atwood tackled. And I don't even think they're all done coming out yet, like all of the authors who are releasing their retellings, but this one's out. I think it came out in 2016 or 17, and I found it absolutely fascinating. I would read anything that this woman wrote, and I loved this. So there we go. Question number two is A is for, well, A, the last book you read with the article / one-letter word A in the title. So the technical last book I read with the letter A in the title is A Good Enough Mother, but I've lent that one out, so I won't talk about that one right now. But I will talk about Son of a Trickster by Eden Robinson. This is such a fantastic book. It was a finalist for the Scotiabank Giller Prize, which, if you're not familiar, the Scotiabank Giller Prize is a Canadian literary award, kind of the top literary award. And this book is so good. It was written by a native author, and it kind of weaves in a lot of different native folklore, especially the folklore of the Tricksters. And it's so interesting, it's so good, it's so well written, and I love it so much. Now, most of these books, not all, but most of these books also have book talks on my channel. You guys, the sun is moving. I knew it was going to do that. It's been cloudy all morning, so I thought, you know what, I'm safe to film because I use natural light to film. And now, of course, as soon as I sit down, it's traveling, but we will just ignore that. So would definitely recommend. Oh yeah, but as I was saying, most of these books can be found as book talks on my channel, so if you want to hear more about a certain one of these books, you could probably search that up and find it. But yes, Son of a Trickster, so good, would recommend. Next question is A is for Angry, a book that pissed you off. And I'm gonna go with My Absolute Darling by Gabriel Tolland. And this book was a lot. It was a lot. It made me feel so many things, a lot of them very negative things. And it's not that the writing was bad. It's a beautifully written story. It's a well-told story. It's a story that thankfully ends on a positive note, or else I would have had a breakdown. But there are some scenes in this book that are gonna make you so mad, you're gonna want to fling it out a window, but don't. If you can, keep going. It's a beautiful story, but it made me so mad so many times, so many times. And it's not a book for everyone because it's very graphic in some parts, to the point that you don't know how to deal with it. So that is definitely the book that made me the angriest. Question number 4, A is for Awesome, a top read in recent years. For that, I'm gonna go with Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. This could easily have went to either of Celeste's book. There's this one and also Little Fires Everywhere. And I loved both of them, and they're both highly recommended from me to you. and she's a wonderful, wonderful writer. She also seems like a really wonderful person. I love following her on social media. I love hearing the things she has to say. That has nothing to do with the question, but these books are so good. She's a fantastic storyteller. I get excited anytime she mentions like a work in progress on Twitter, because that means there's more coming soon, and I can't wait to read more from her. Question number 5. A is for a book whose title includes at least 3 A's. Bonus points for more than 3. So I picked The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. So we've got 1, 2, 3. I love this book. It's a really tiny book, but it's a beautiful tale. And I love the cover. Look how beautiful the cover is. I just love everything about this book. I love Neil Gaiman. He's such a fun, fantastic writer. And this book is wonderful. And it also has one of my favorite dedications. It says here on the first page right there, it says, "For Amanda, who wanted to know." And that's such a sweet, beautiful, mysterious dedication. Amanda, of course, being his wife, Amanda Palmer. And I just thought that was such a sweet dedication. Who wanted to know? And there's a longer story to that, but I'm not going to bore you with it now. But yes, this is the story of a middle-aged man who returns to his childhood home in Sussex, England. And it's just a very interesting tale, and you can get through it real quick, and it's a fun book. A is for Anticipation, a book, new release or not, that you're very much looking forward to reading. My current most anticipated new release that isn't released yet is the new Joe Hill book, which is called Full Throttle, and it's a collection of short stories. I get really excited when either he or his father, Stephen King, put out a book of short stories. They're such masters at the art of the short story that I get very excited. And Joe Hill has one coming out on October 1st. And actually, speaking of Joe Hill and Stephen King, they've also got a movie coming to Netflix. Well, a movie based on their story called In the Tall Grass that is coming in like a couple weeks. And I can't wait to see that. So, bit of right there. Okay. Number 9. A is for Actually, a book you didn't expect to like but did. Honestly, and I know Tia had a similar answer to this, I won't pick up a book to read it if I don't anticipate that I'm going to like it. Sometimes the opposite happens. I think I'm going to like it and then I'm surprised that I didn't. But in terms of a book I didn't think I was going to like, I don't really read those. But I will give you an answer here. And I'm going to go with Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson. Another gorgeous cover, my lord. Anyway, it's not that I didn't think I would like this book. I kind of knew I would, but I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I found it so interesting, so intriguing, and I loved it. So, go with that. Question number 10. A is for Affected, a character, book, or writer you feel is pretentious. That's easy. This is the worst book I've ever read. I feel like the author is pretentious. I feel like the book is pretentious, and all the characters are pretentious. So it checks off every single box. And this is Palo Alto by James Franco. Like, as in, yes, James Franco, exactly who you're thinking of, the actor. This book is so bad. It's a collection of short stories. Which I know I just got done talking about how much I like short stories, but it's not okay. I would not recommend reading it. The writing is it's cringy, but also pretentious at the same time. So there's a lot of different feelings going on at once. And I don't like it. I don't like it. And that's it. Question number 11. A is for How's It Going? A? A book you like by a Canadian writer or one you want to read. Well, I've already mentioned a ton of Canadian authors in this video already because I read so many Canadian authors because I am Canadian and there's just so many good ones. So I mentioned Margaret Atwood and Eden Robinson was Son of a Trickster, and it took me a lot of narrowing down to figure out which book I wanted to mention in this actual question, and I went with The Best Kind of People by Zoe Whitall, and this was another Scotiabank Giller Prize finalist. This book is so good. It's about a woman whose husband, and like, so her husband is, you know, they're very well known in the community, high standing. All of a sudden one day her husband is accused of sexual misconduct with one of his students. And the book is about, it's not really about him so much, but it's about her dealing with what happened and then coming to terms with her life now and how she's going to continue living it. And it has the absolute most heartbreaking final 2 paragraphs that I've ever read in my entire life. Once I finished reading that last sentence, I sat and I cried, and I cried for a good few minutes. It will break your heart in two, but it is such an amazing book. So that's The Best Kind of People by Zoe Whitall. I just knocked over all the books. Guys, I'm getting all out of order. I skipped over a couple of questions. I'm sorry. So going back now to question number 6 that I skipped over somehow. A is for annoying, a character that drove you up the wall. And we're gonna go with Merritt Voss from Without Merit. I don't know why, but that character, I just did nothing for me. She made me roll my eyes a lot, and I just didn't care for her at all. And this actually works out because I skipped over accidentally number 7, which is A is for ambivalent, a book you're still not sure how you feel about. And then the final question is 12, A is for anticlimactic, a book you thought fizzled out at the end. And I'm going to use the same book for both of those questions. And this is Providence by Caroline Kepnes. I like Caroline Kepnes quite a bit. I like the other books she's written, like You, which was turned into a Netflix series. I like that a lot. But this one, I'm not entirely sure how I felt about it. Like, at the time when I finished reading it, I was kind of like, okay, all right. But now here we are a few months later, I can't remember how it ends. So that's kind of the end fizzling out for me portion of that. And I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it, because it's interesting. My feelings can change, like when I'm filming a book talk video and I'm in kind of the energy of just having finished reading the book. After a bit of time has passed, my thoughts can be completely different on the book, or at least maybe not completely different. I'm not going to go from liking a book to hating it, but my opinions on certain things will shift the longer I have to kind of marinate my thoughts on it, you know what I mean? And this is kind of one of those books for me. I'm not sure how I feel about it. There you go, you guys. And the final portion of this tag, of course, is to tag anyone else. So I just tag any of you, je suis, je moi. I know you like doing the book tags as well, so if you'd like to do this, I'd love to hear your answers, along with anybody else. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you on Friday with another book talk video. Bye, guys.